National Convention with all of the action, and there certainly was plenty of action and controversy. But in terms of protesting, over 1,000 people protesting the Democratic National Convention last night in Philadelphia. That's just the beginning. A lot of that is because of the timing of the WikiLeaks emails that were released, showing that the Democratic National Convention really gave favor to Hillary Clinton. John Zogby on the line right now. What are your thoughts on all this, John?
Well, the Democrats thought that they were going to display some unity above and beyond what the Republicans had shown, and it looks like they're not going to get that moment. So they're going to have to do some scrambling and some work. It's not irretrievable, but this really does hurt the image of the Democrats going in.
So what about the timing? There is a charge out there, and I don't know if there's any validity to it, that these emails were actually discovered through a hack done by Russians, and then the Russians released it to WikiLeaks, and this is all timing for Donald Trump. You think there's any truth to that?
I have really no idea whatsoever. It's convenient. When in doubt, find Castro.
Yeah.
Or the communists,
blame the Russians.
Blame somebody, Saddam. Well, he's gone.
Yeah.
Sure, why not blame the Russians, I guess. But the fact of the matter is that the emails exist, and they're not so nice, and they confirm the charges that the Sanders people had been making all along. And the eve of the convention, I mean, if I were staging that, I think that's straight from Hollywood.
Yeah, I mean, crazy. But, I don't think there's any surprise to you that the Democratic Party, the Democrats, had no interest in nominating a socialist as their nominee.
They did not, and he technically was not really a Democrat. By the same token, Debbie is not a lovely person, let me put it that way. She really isn't. And she was put there to do a job, and that was to ensure that Hillary would become the nominee. And so she succeeded, and now it's time for her to take her turn under the bus.
So what? So then we're talking about Donna Brazile that will come in afterwards. Mm-hmm. Listen, you've been you had said all along that Hillary Clinton would not be the nominee. It looks like she's going to be the nominee without any doubt at this point. But maybe she shouldn't have been the nominee. Well,
to be perfectly honest with you, I don't think she should have. I saw a ceiling of support for her right along, and always the potential to make her the case, whereas a fresh Democrat or even a likable Democrat would really have the opportunity to walk right into the White House with history on his or her side, with the Electoral College, demographics on their side. Hillary makes this a whole lot more close and a whole lot more interesting.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, do the protests, does the Bernie Sanders camp have any chance? Could this be, could some surprise come out of this convention?
Oh, I doubt that. But, the big surprise is whether or not there really will be unity to come out. And,
right.
And it's not just Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders can do a weak sort of embrace, do that sort of thing. But the bottom line is, can he get all of his supporters over to support Hillary Clinton? And I'm not entirely convinced that they're going to follow him on this.
And one last thing, I'd like your take on the the protest vote for the Republicans. They won. They're in control. The establishment, which is much more well behaved, is tolerating and doing what they need to do for the good of the party. On the Democrat side, the protest vote did not win. They are so therefore the unhappy crowd is not a well-behaved political group.
No.
So what does that mean?
It means the long-standing tradition about the Democrats that when they form a firing squad, they do it in a circle. That's where the quote actually came from Democratic disunity is a long-standing tradition, and basically you could have a scenario similar to 1968, where Gene McCarthy and his anti-war demonstrators left that very messy Chicago convention, and then by the time Gene McCarthy weakly endorsed Hubert Humphrey right before the election, it made the election a bit closer, but Humphrey still lost by 1 percentage point.
Yeah. Polling out this morning shows that Trump is actually now leading Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, some have him as high as 6 points. A few have it tied. Whatever it is, it's a very close race. The era of the big bounce from these conventions is over. We don't live in that kind of milieu anymore. But yeah, look at this one to be close right on up to the week before, and then we'll see if something breaks.
All right, John, as always, we appreciate you coming on. Thanks so much.
Sure. Take care, Bill.
John Zogby, Zogby Analytics. He has a new company that they've started, too. It's a strategic firm that serves as consultants. That's John Zogby.